All right, I am so excited about tonight. We've had a little last minute change on our topic. I don't even remember if I announced the topic from last week or not, but we had a last minute change tonight just because some of our panelists cannot be with us tonight. So next week we're going to get a lot of feedback from people, and if you guys want to join in, please do. But during the year, we all go to different single adult conferences. Or maybe if you want to talk about general conference, if you want to talk about state conference, you want to talk about any conference, I don't care, church related. But we want to talk about our takeaways from those, because a lot of times we put a lot of time, most of our lives feels like, at least a part-time job, in planning the conferences every year. And so we want what your takeaways are from those this year. Whichever conference you attended, however many, it doesn't matter in which conference. You can tell us which conference it was or not, doesn't matter, but just what your takeaways were from it. So we're going to be talking about that next week. But for tonight, we're going to talk about 3 things that I have learned recently. So I am taking a course that's an emotions mentor coach, and I'm going to be certified in it and that type of thing. It's a certification course that I'm doing. And this last week, my mind was open to a few things, and I wanted to just kind of share that with you guys tonight. I think it's very relatable to us as single adults, and it's also something that I feel like we need for our families. Something that I have learned is that families need a lot of different things, right? And we all do, even as individuals. And the one thing that we all need to be able to get us through any type of anything is hope. When we lose hope, we just kind of bottom out. Hope is what generally gets us up in the morning, and we have hope for a better day. We have hope for a better life. We have hope for a better future, or something different even. Maybe not better, maybe different. We all want to make different improvements throughout our lives, because, if we just stay stagnant, which isn't possible, but if we did, then we're not really becoming more Christ-like, because Christ didn't just stay stagnant, right? And that's not what he taught. He taught us that we all need change. We all need that hope and that faith. And something I've learned too that I needed this last week, because I was having a really bad day on Wednesday. And I talked to one of my leaders, and I was given this phrase, which inspired me right back into action. And she said, "Inspired action and doubt cannot coexist." And so when I start doubting my path or whatever journey I'm on or whatever, but I know that it's inspired for me to do something, just remember that inspired action and doubt cannot coexist. You choose one or the other. But the one thing that has meant the most to me this week is, in part of my course, I've been assigned this book, Think and Grow Rich. You may have heard of the book Think and Grow Rich, right? A long time ago. I think that book's been around 50 years or more, at least it seems like it. But in this book, Think and Grow Rich, I thought, okay, great. Another book on gratitude, right? Thankfully, I wasn't the only one that thought something like that. And in the introduction, I got humbled. So yes, I'm going to be reading this book. But in the introduction, I want to read to you something called Ode to Joy. If your mind isn't cluttered by unnecessary things, this could be the best day of your life. So think about that. That was from a message left on her voicemail by the Zing, aka Ethan Hughes of the Possibility Alliance. If your mind isn't cluttered by unnecessary things, this could be the best day of your life. How many times, I know I'm guilty of this, do we allow our minds to be cluttered with things that really don't matter? whether it be scrolling through Facebook or worrying about whatever that we can't control, or thinking about, whatever this and whatever that. And our minds get just kind of cluttered with a lot of things. Could be the best day of your life. Now, that wasn't really the humbling part to me that this was. It said, gratitude? Really? Isn't that sort of, lame? You just wrote a pair of powerhouse books about energy and infinite possibility, and now you're just going to sell out and write about something penny-waste like gratitude. That's so basic, so flimsy, so 101. Hold on, Sparky, she says. The gratitude I'm talking about in this book is anything but flimsy or 101. Let's call it ferocious gratitude. In-your-face gratitude. None of the namby-pamby, sunshine and lollipops crap. Because here's the thing. When we don't stop daily to inventory all the gazillion things going right in our lives, the crazy voices in our heads try to bring us down. When we don't militantly count our blessings, the voices start jabbering, telling us that life sucks, that we suck. They're like the ticker crawl at the bottom of a news broadcast, running continuously in a nonstop loop. As long as we keep tuning into these voices, we fail to notice the incredible gift we've been given. To be here on planet Earth, to have this day, to enjoy this cosmic adventure. As long as we continue to etch their bald-faced lies deeper and deeper into our psyches, we cloud over our profound transformative connection to the field of infinite potentiality. By simply stopping every day and registering our connection to this undeniable, unchanging presence, we start to notice a deeper truth, a happier reality. We start to notice an eternal broadcast airing its joyful melody quietly beneath the static. So, I'm preaching just a little bit, huh? So in this book, that was just from the introduction. I felt inspired beyond that, and also humbled, because sometimes I need that, because I get an attitude like, really, do I really want to do this? So, but it's so important that we remember to do that. So I've been challenged, and I want to extend this challenge to you guys, and we're going to open this up more for conversation. And I had to make a little sign of this to remind myself, because, all the other crazy things get in my way. But the daily questions, if you want a copy of it, I can send it to you. But in the morning, I start out with, how can I serve today? 2, what's the one thing I can do today that will lead to meaningful progress with my goals, whatever your goals may be? And 3, what one thing can I do that I love today? And then at night, you ask yourself, what are my 3 wins? What are 3 things that went right, or that you did good today? And it encourages a lot of self-confidence. And then what can I do to make tomorrow even better? So for those of you that have worked with me in the past, I'm really big into you thinking of your wins at the end of the day. But something I've also learned is that gratitude increases our self-esteem. It increases our outlook and improves our outlook on life. It actually even improves your IQ, makes you a little smarter. How about that? So let's open up and let's chat about this a minute. What are your thoughts as you hear me reading this or talking about this? What kind of things come to mind? Anybody want to unmute and talk for a minute? Share with me your thoughts. Fred, any words of wisdom you want to share with us?
Are you referring to my age?
Oh, no, not at all.
Okay.
I
think the more you really do have to look for the good. And I know this is cliche, and the whole topic is cliche in a lot of ways, but it is such a rewarding thing. Almost everyone goes through all kinds of challenges in their lives. And it's such a contrast, not in the challenges that people go through, but the contrast is how they go through them. I had a tenant in a rental property I had, and her daughter had passed away at a young age, and I'm going to say in her early 20s. And the woman never recovered from that grief. She became bedridden. She is still alive, but she became, bedridden, and just she just never could get over it. And even and this has been 20 years. And I think if you have to pull out a pencil and paper in the morning and say, well, I'm thankful for, I woke up, and I don't have a headache. I don't have a backache. I've got food in my refrigerator.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's such basic things that so many people don't have. So, I mean, it's a great thing to recognize those things. And then the sad parts of our lives will be put into perspective, in my opinion. I mean, I feel like I'm preaching to the choir and I'm just repeating a bunch of cliches, but I really believe that, but if you don't adhere to that, you're going to not be as happy. You're not going to be happy, So I don't.
I was just reminded of the parable of the 10 lepers. Do you remember that? When Christ healed the 10 lepers and only one returned to thank him. And the Lord told him he would even be blessed greater because of his gratitude. It may be cliche, but oh my goodness, what it does to our mindset and to our life. I know when I started being more grateful for things, it turned my world around completely. And trust me, I've been to hell and back. I couldn't have gone through anything worse in my life. And it has been something to me, just how having that gratitude, that hope, and that faith has gotten me through every day, and every day gets a little bit better. It has been amazing to me, the difference at just looking for the good. It is human nature to look for the bad. But if you can just get past that hurdle to look for the good in your world, you'll be amazed at what good does come out of it. Heidi, did you have something you wanted to share?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, I mean, I totally get it, and I agree that, our focus and where we concentrate totally affects our mood and can affect how we feel. But I think also being patient with ourselves or loving with ourselves when going through such a difficult time is key also, to realize that feeling sad and seeing the things that are wrong in our lives and, having a focus on that is actually perfectly normal and makes us human. So I have found that very valuable, because what I would do is I'd beat myself up for feeling that, and then I would feel even worse. And so through therapy and self-help books and things like that, I've learned that the best thing to do is just to accept the emotion and accept that this is your reality, allow that to process and not beat yourself up for it, and then you've made space to see the good. And so I have a very difficult situation going on right now. I got some really bad news last week, and it's been devastating. But what I have started to do is pray and thank Heavenly Father for the job that He is going to get me. So I'm thanking Him now for something I don't have. And I'm just going to speak it into my prayer and speak it into my existence. Now I just started this, so I'm excited to see how that works out. So we'll see.
I really appreciate you bringing that up. That is so true. And I'm glad that you pointed that out. I am not at all suggesting anybody suppress anything bad going on in their life, because all that does is bury feelings that will come out later as health issues. So no, don't do that. We definitely want to do just what Heidi said. You want to feel it and want to process it. We just don't want to hang on to it and keep dragging it along with us like a ball and chain. So definitely feel it. We do not want to suppress anything negative. Whew, please don't. Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for bringing that up. But even through going through this, Heidi, can you think of 3 things that you can be grateful for, even going through these really tough times?
Absolutely, I can, and I thank him every morning for those things. And I mean, another day, giving me another day to practice,
Right.
To
Right.
try again. My children, my family, those who do love me, my Savior, my car that I finally got back. I'm so grateful for. I'm so grateful for it. And the only way I was able to do that were key people who have been generous and
Right.
kind that Heavenly Father put in my path to help me to do that. And
Right.
so
Yeah.
I'm so grateful. And I thought, when I got that car back, and I just thought about everybody else who don't have car trouble or have their cars or whatever. And I thought, y'all just need to thank the Lord that you have your and you need to be grateful. So it does, when we go through such a hard time, difficult times, it just made me that much more appreciative of what I have.
Right.
And what it felt like when I didn't. And so I was like, ooh, y'all are taking for granted that you have that car and that
Right.
it drives every day and it's not been taken from you. You need to give thanks for that.
I know, right? And then you're also going to school. I mean, you've got healthy kids. I mean, there are just so many things that, you've got home. That has been something that for me has been kind of something for me this year. Is just the home that I live in. And oh my goodness, what an amazing blessing that is. So, yeah, I'm grateful though that you brought that up. So even going through hard times, we can be grateful. I remember when everything happened with my last husband. I remember one of my kids, it was one of my older ones, saying, "Well, I'm grateful that we're going through this." And I looked at them like they were crazy. I was like, "Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I would not ever want to go through this." They said, "Well, I don't want to go through this, but I'm grateful that we've got the opportunity to be able to learn from it." And humbling for me to be able to learn from my children that, you know, it just really does help. Okay, any other thoughts? Anybody else want to unmute and share your thoughts? Got quite a nice crowd on here tonight. That's awesome. Anybody want to unmute? Share with us your thoughts on gratitude, hope, or faith. Maybe something you've learned, something you've thought about.
Hey.
Hey.
Hello. How is everybody?
Great.
Oh, I've just been going through this very exact same thing. And the part that you said about the negative thoughts or your troubles or trials or losses going on, this constant loop in your head. Mm-hmm. I get that totally. And I think that I just, after I listened to conference and have been doing a lot of pondering and praying and reading scriptures about this kind of thing, it's like the one thing that I pulled out of it was that it was a wonderful, wonderful tool of Satan, that he wants to keep in your mind the thing that makes you sad or the thing that you've experienced or the trial that you're going through. Because if you can remember that and you keep focusing on that, you just crowd out the good things. And the more it happens and the longer it goes, the more you spiral down. So it was like the mists of darkness in Lehi's dream. You just have that black cloud over your head. And, how do you get rid of it is kind of the big thing that was been in my mind. And in the Book of Mormon, we're taught that when we have trials upon us, that we're to look to Christ. And so I tried to stop the nonstop loop by putting a picture of him in my mind, or thinking about his atonement, or thinking about what he taught or did. And that would help at least stop it for that moment. But in conference, we learned a lot about joy and about what made us happy. and how to focus on those things that are good and righteous and happy itself, and to use that to squeeze out the negative.
Awesome.
So.
Thank you, Tracy. I really appreciate you bringing that up. One thing that I really did enjoy about conference was that they emphasized joy so much. If you really want to be happy, you've got to have gratitude. Without gratitude, there is no happiness.
We start losing hope. You know,
Right.
and we are so focused on what's wrong or what's unfortunate or what you've lost, and you just start to lose that hope because you just can't see past it.
Right. And we've got to hang on to that. And you know, I hear a lot of single adults say something to the effect of, I give up. I'm done looking. I did all I can do. I'm just done. You guys ever heard anybody say that? I do. All the time. So many people will say, I've heard a couple of people even in their 40s will say, I'm just too old. I've done this too long. And I'm like, let's try a little bit more. Or they might say, I've been single for 3 years. It's been long enough. I'm like, try a little bit more. Hang on a little bit more. You know, there's a whole thing of this the Lord's timing thing. Some of us are for it. Some of us complain about it. But either way, it can be something that may not be easy to wait for, but there's a reason for it. And it might be something in you, in your growth, in your preparation for whatever's ahead of you that you need to go through. Or let's say, for instance, if you want to remarry, it may not be you. It may need to be the other person that you're waiting for to be ready. Maybe they've got more growth. Maybe they've got more something to go through. That is something I've been thinking of recently. I've been single for 12 years. And I've been dating a man since the summer. And things are going well. But in all my 12 years, he wasn't ready. He wasn't ready until we met. And then he was ready. And he recognized that. And I did too. And it was something to me where all those times I spent praying, all those times I spent fasting, the Lord knew. And, you know, it's all going to work out, which is going to be awesome. But knowing the Lord's timing is huge. And there are times when it just doesn't feel like, I remember even within the last couple of years telling my kids, guys, I don't know if I'm ever going to get married again. I just don't know. In the last couple of years, things started changing for me. But it has just been interesting to me because I just do go into things not expecting anything. And to really have that mindset of, I'm just going to enjoy it. I'm just going to get the most out of it. I'm going to come in. I'm going to fully participate. I'm going to, give, and I'm going to serve, and I'm going to whatever. And do that over and over and over and over again. And many of you know I've been in this position with single adults for 7 years. It's been a long time. Can I say I'm done? Can I get an amen? It's like, I'm ready to hand the torch over. Got no problem with that. I mean, I love the people that I serve. Do not get me wrong. I love you guys. Oh, how I love you guys. And I will continue to do all that I can do. And I'll continue as long as I have this assignment. But it is just something that, for me, has been a very huge growth experience for me. Who I was when I started is not who I am now. I would go into an activity and look for people that I knew and hang out with them. That was it. And you guys know me different now. That's not what I do now. A little different now. So thankfully, because of this calling and the assignment that I have, that I've been able to change who I am, but in a better way, and be able to be a friend to many more people. I am a friend to hundreds of people, and I just love you guys all dearly. And it's really something, because we do grow to love those that we serve, and it's made me a lot more grateful for so many things, but for so many people, and even for the journey that I've been on. I won't say I'm grateful for what I went through, but I'm grateful for the journey, and I'm grateful for the Lord being with me and helping me along the way, and blessing me with so many friends, and blessing me with so many opportunities to serve, and so many opportunities to share my story, to help lift another, or to help inspire somebody else through something else. And that is something that I have learned is, and I felt inspired that that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, is just to help and serve people in whatever position He wants me to serve in. And that is huge. And going about it with the attitude of love, and of trying to have compassion for people, even those that are difficult. And I raise my eyebrow on difficult, because, I have a patience level that can be tested, but that's okay. I love these people. And, just trying to have greater understanding and a greater gratitude for so many that are in my life, that have blessed my life in so many ways, and the people that I have been able to learn from. If I hadn't have had this opportunity, I wouldn't have learned. I know some of you have expressed that you've learned a lot through the webinars. When I started the webinars, it was with the intention of having a group discussion each week on different topics, which is what we've done, right? But in the process, I have learned a lot too. And I am incredibly grateful for what I've been able to learn from you guys, because you guys have a lot of insights and perspectives that I don't have. And that has helped me a lot in being able to learn from that. So I'm grateful to you for that. Okay, any other thoughts or insights anyone wants to share?
I wanted to kind of go back a little bit when we were talking about, the adversary, and how he can hone in on our weaknesses and our issues and our difficulties. So I learned this from another group that I'm a part of, therapy group. And she talked about smoke and mirrors, and how the adversary uses smoke and mirrors with evidence to blind us with our situations, with our thoughts, with our insecurities and everything. And that he has to have some evidence so it looks true, it looks real. Wow. But he's manipulating it in a way that it's really distorted, but it looks like truth to you, because there are some parts of truth to it. And so if we can try to remember that, and really take a step back and look and see, like, okay, what is the reality here, and how is Satan trying to use this against me to fog up my mirror and to manipulate my reality to benefit him. That's been very useful for me this week.
Oh, wow. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. We might need to talk more, Heidi. Share more with me on that one. That's awesome. I love it. All right. Anyone else have any other thoughts or insights that you want to share on this? For those of you going through a tough time, and that might be the majority of you, or different challenges you might be facing, whether it be in your dating life, whether it be in your health, whether it be in your spiritual life, or whatever, just remember to not lose hope, and to have that faith to be able to keep going and to make tomorrow better. What can you do to make tomorrow better? What are the 3 wins of your day? Who can you serve tomorrow? Or maybe even today, if you got enough time still left in the day to serve somebody. Who can you serve? I'm trying to remember the questions, right? What is it that you can do? What's one thing you can do to help get you closer to your goals? And then what one thing can you do that you love to do today, or that you love today? So just keep those things in mind and go through those. And the more that you establish that happy attitude of gratitude, and not surface level, not, keeping it chill, I'm all cool, calm, and collected when you're hiding behind a mask, not that. I'm talking about keeping it real. You still want to feel the emotion. If you feel a negative emotion, you still want to feel that. Do not suppress that. You need to process that. But while you're processing it, while you're going through it, think about other things that are going right in your life. Because not everything's falling apart, even though it may feel like it. Even though it may look like it, it's not all falling apart. There's so many things to be grateful for. So many things that you can do to make someone else's life better. So many things you can do to make your own life better. I love being able to listen to General Conference every 6 months. And what they inspire us to do or to say or to make our lives better. And sometimes it is just the simple things. Those same Sunday school answers of saying your prayers and reading your scriptures and going to church and going to the temple. How many of you are actually doing that? And when it comes down to it, when a lot of people say, well, things aren't going right in my life. Well, let's go back to the simple things. Are you praying? Are you studying your scriptures, not just reading them? Are you going to church? Are you, and keeping the Sabbath day holy even, and are you going to the temple regularly? If those things are out of whack, your life may be temporarily. For those of you that can't go or that aren't close to a temple, or maybe, whatever reason it doesn't work for you to go to the temple, there's family history you can do. There's other things that can be done that are still temple work related, okay? There's so many things that you can do to be able to help your life in little ways. Your life doesn't suck. You may be going through a trial. You may be going through some challenges, but it's to help mold you to become who the Lord wants you to become, just like clay in the potter's hands. Who was that? Was that at General Conference, or was that something else I listened to recently? I can't even remember. Was that at General Conference? Was that Uchtdorf? Am I hearing his voice in that, or is that somebody else?
That's a book. There's a book called In the Potter's Hands.
Right. But I thought I was hearing a talk recently about that. I don't remember. Anyway, so
that was also the theme at the Charleston conference.
Right. Yeah. I know that. Trust me. I know that. Thanks, Pat, for that reminder. But I mean, I feel like I heard somebody in a General Conference talk recently, and maybe I just listened to it one day. I don't know. But anyway, just like clay in the potter's hands, he's molding you to become who you were meant to be able to return to live with him again. Life's not meant to be easy, people. It's just not. We're human. If you're not going through challenges, then you're doing something wrong. Because life is meant for you to be challenged, for you to go through different obstacles, to be able to build your character and to mold you, if you will, to be who you were meant to be more Christ-like. We all need to go through something. And that's okay. Whether big or little, doesn't matter. And sometimes it could be subtle, like the spiritual growth that you may need, or maybe something that is, in some other different aspect of your life. We talked about a few different ones last week that maybe you need to work on, that maybe you're being challenged with, or maybe you're not feeling as a challenge, but maybe you need to improve it. Today we had a state conference and heard the state president talk about 3 different points of doctrine that he was challenging us as a state to improve on. And the number one thing being keep the Sabbath day holy. And I went home feeling like I needed to do better about keeping the Sabbath day holy. And in that, I don't know that when I get home, I think of it necessarily as a spiritual. I don't think I really do a lot of spiritual things when I get home. I mean, I do things with people, and I'm good, and I have my family call with my kids, and I do the webinar, and I join you guys, right? And I visit with people, and I mean, I do things, but I don't know. I'm thinking that I could do something better. And I love President Hinckley's motto of do a little more, be a little better. And I think that if we just kind of take that on, that will help us as well. Just to do a little more and be a little better. You don't have to be perfect in all things. That's not going to happen either because we're human. So don't even think about it. Don't even worry about it. And just not going to be perfect in all these areas. But you can be better. So what can you do to be better tomorrow? What can you do to have a better day tomorrow? And maybe think on that tonight as, as you wind down your day and maybe head into a new week. What can you do to make this week better? They're different things that we can do to make different aspects of our life a little better. In changing what we do with our time or with our energy or whatever aspects of life. All right. Any other thoughts?
I had in my scripture study today, I read about when Nephi's family, they finally got to the land of inheritance, and he said that he and his people did prosper exceedingly because they kept the commandments and the statutes and the judgments of God while they lived the law of Moses that they had at that time. So it gave me pause to think about, what do you have to do to prosper exceedingly? And I think, well, what is prosperity? And it's different for everybody. Right. And so you think, does that mean I have, food, my bills paid, or does that mean I have to have a nicer car and a nicer house? Everybody has their own definition of prosperity. But I thought to kind of look a little deeper, and I thought, well, okay, then back up. What are the commandments? And so I read through Abinadi, and then in the Old Testament as well, which it's the same, but just to see what the basic commandments were. And, one of the ones, and I thought, well, let's see if I'm keeping them. Or is there something like you said about the Sabbath day? What can I do to fine tune? And, it's if you kind of break them down and really look at what they are and what they mean, you can probably find things that each of us need to work on. But it goes right, if you're not growing, you're stagnant. If you're stagnant, then you're not going anywhere. And then you start losing that hope.
Right. Thank you. Right. It goes back to, I think, something that I learned a while back is that every choice we make and everything that we do either brings us closer to the Lord or away from Him. Your choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I love it. I love it.
The basics. You have to be doing those basics to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Complacency does not mean growth.
Yeah, well, he says if you do what I say, then he's bound. Then we have the promise. And if we don't, then we have no promise.
Yep. Very true. Very true. I love it. Thanks so much, Tracy. Appreciate you sharing that. All right. Anyone else have any other thoughts you want to share with us tonight? All righty. Well, with that, we're going to call it a night. I really appreciate all of you guys getting on with us tonight and sharing your Sunday evening with me. We will see you guys next week, next Saturday. Next Sunday is a very special day for me because my grandson's being blessed next Sunday, so I'm excited about that. We'll be doing that too. But in the meantime, I hope you have a fabulous week. Be grateful and make it a great one. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.